Um, Thank you everyone for checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where I get to talk sports and culture, oftentimes for fans, with the fans. Now, there's a lot going on in our country, both on the national level and the local level. We've got the third week of professional football here that's starting. We've got the start of the NBA finals that are starting tonight. The Lakers taking on the Miami Heat. We also have here on the local level, the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox that are in the middle of a pennant chase. So there's a lot going on, but nothing more important than what has been taking place on a national level. Most importantly, what transpired last night during last night's presidential debate. So there's been a lot of conversation around what transpired, some of the things that have been said. I know that there's some people out there with some strong opinions and thoughts. So before we get into it, before I dive into it, you know how we do it? You got it at home? Raise your glass. We're about to get into it. Straight No Chaser. So let's see, Takove. Your takeaway is research the local representatives that you're voting for. The president is the face of USA. The local government makes the laws and policies that we follow. The president has no power without Congress and the Senate. Nailed it. One of the things that I've encouraged people to do is get involved on a local level. You know, case in point, I live in the south suburbs of Chicago. I stopped in today because today was the last day to renew my vehicle sticker. I ran into my mayor. As soon as he sees me, Mr. Anderson, what's going on? So we're having a conversation. He was like, "Hey, we have a new grocery store coming in. We've got there's another business that he's talking about bringing in." But the reason why we had that conversation, and he knows me by name, he knows me by face, is because I go to village board meetings, or if I don't go to the meetings, I will at least talk to the village mayor and say, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, they've got they have different events, local events, you know, men's prayer breakfast, things like that, that my village mayor will call me, or if he's riding by and he sees me outside, not cutting the grass, but, you know, just hanging out, talking to people, whatever case it may be, he will stop and say, "Hey, we've got this going on. We'd love for you to attend. We'd love for you to, you know, be a part of XYZ. Or if there's a new initiative, he will say, "Hey, you know what, we're thinking about doing this. What are your thoughts on it?" The reason why is because I chose to get involved in my community on a local level. I chose to get involved with different initiatives, or at least be able to provide feedback. Exactly. A lot of the laws and policies happen on a local level. And I think one of the things that people should be cognizant of and be aware of, and also take ownership of, is knowing your local officials. Also, when you're voting, one of the things that goes overlooked and often gets overlooked is when you vote for these circuit judges, find out what their policies are. Find out what their track records are as it relates to sentencing, as it relates to their ideology. Are their ideologies in alignment with yours, or are you just voting down the ticket because it says Democrat or Republican? Understand who you're voting for. Your vote should be transactional. It should be, if you vote for XYZ person, then it is because you are expecting XYZ in return, and that XYZ in return should be benefiting you, should be benefiting your family, should be benefiting your community. I think one of the things that's going to be very telling is how people are moving away from their traditional way of thinking and voting along party lines, whether you're Republican or Democrat, and seeing people cross over one way or the other, whether it's, you know, Republican, Democrat, independent, but seeing people cross party lines because now they're voting for their interests. Like I said, interests for their homes, their individual households, their communities, their states, things like that, because that's where the impact lies. That's where the day-to-day stuff lies. Some of the other stuff can have an impact. I know there's some things that are happening at the federal level that have an impact, you know, as it relates to policies, funding, things like that. But Takova, you're absolutely right. And I've encouraged people in the past, know your candidates, know who you're voting for and what they're voting for. You know, I think we are moving because we have access to more information than ever before, being able to move from voting along party lines to now we can actually have more information about candidates, viable information, and voting what's right. You know, and I'm not telling people which way to vote, which party lines to vote for, but understand the candidates that you are voting for and if they're aligning with your interests. You know, do you know who these people are? You know, so I think that's a great point, and I've spoken on that several times.